Just obviously bringing an end to the Eastern Michigan football game. Proud of our kids. I thought we improved in some areas we needed to from a week ago. Obviously not perfect in the football game. There's some areas we got to continue to work on, and we'll get ready for that for practice this week. UMass, again, I think I said this earlier this morning, UMass really one of the most talented teams in terms of individual talent. A terrific quarterback, maybe one of the best statistically in our conference, an elite wide receiver, kind of coupled by some really talented wide receivers around him, and then a tight end that's probably, right now coming in as one of the best in the Mid-American Conference. Defensively, some really talented linebackers, guys that run to the football, played one of the hardest schedules, quite honestly, up until this point of the season than anybody we've played. So I think it's going to be a great challenge. We know it's a huge road game. For us to be successful, obviously got to win on the road, and be a great challenge for us come next Saturday. So with that said, I'll certainly open up to you guys any questions you have for me.
Like last year, you guys were favored to win the game, but UMass had the ball 35-35. They had the ball in your 40 at one point in the fourth quarter. Is there, for the guys that went through it, they know that how good UMass is?
Yeah, and again, I think you just turn the film on, and you watch these guys play. Really talented football players. I've got the utmost respect for Coach Whipple. You're talking about a guy that's had a tremendous career and is now trying to bring back this UMass program, and I think he's done a great job putting really good players around him. He's a great offensive mind and defensive mind, and a guy that understands the game, and I think he does as good a job as anybody putting their kids in position to be successful. So I think our kids already instantly have great respect for their football team and know it'll be a great challenge come Saturday. Not with this football team. Quite honestly, it's been a one game at a time, one day at a time approach with our group. And obviously, like I said, we're not a finished product. We got a lot of work to do. I think our kids know that. Again, you watch the film from last week, some really good things, but some areas that we got to continue to improve on. And for us, it has been nothing more than how do we come one day at a time, get ourselves better, and prepare to play the next football game. So I think our kids know that, and the expectations there have never changed in our program. Jalen is done for the year, and obviously a really tough loss for us, and in terms of for me, not even so much as the player, but as the person. I said this earlier today too. Is I don't know if anybody's made as greatest strides as that young man has on and off the football field, and he's a warrior. He's a kid that comes every day, loves the game of football, plays really hard. So that's what's really tough for me when you see a guy like that goes down, and but the positive is he's going to, it was a clean break, a break in the leg. He'll be back ready to go for spring practice, hopefully sometime through spring, and I think he'll make a 100% comeback. And knowing him, he'll be ready to rock and roll and do a great job leading his teammates through the rest of the season.
Do you know which bone he broke?
I don't.
Obviously, injuries are part of football. You hate to see them. Is this where all of your recruiting and depth and all of those things pay off? Because you guys have done that so often.
Yeah, well, I hope so. Again, Jawan Woodley comes into the game, who started really the early part of the season for us, just got named, I think, MAC Defensive Player of the Week this week, and obviously a tribute to him. Didn't even start the game, gets that, and Jawan played extremely well, and between him and Chase, and then obviously Tyler Tafe, a young guy that's really coming on and playing for us. We feel confident in depth at that position, but when you lose a guy, production and leadership of Jalen, other guys are going to have to step up and play. Yeah, I just think you want to play well every time you got the ball or defending it. Getting off to a great start, all those things. I think sometimes that's cliche. It is what it is. I think you got to deal with every situation that comes. Obviously we want to start better than we did. This past week defensively, they went down, got a field goal on the first drive. Offensively, we drove the football, had a really good drive, and then ended up punting it. And obviously we want to score every time we touch the football, and we want to stop them every time they have it. So, credit goes to our kids and our coaches. I thought we settled into the football game, and really played second and third quarter, maybe played as good a football as we have all year.
We got to mention it, but UMass put themselves through the ringer in that conference portion. Can it have that effect midway through the season, having played so many good teams already?
Yeah, I think for them it can also be a great confidence builder. You played some really good football teams, and I think talking Notre Dame and some of the teams that they've played throughout the season so far. I think they've got confidence. Their kids have had success. They know how to win and be successful. They did it a year ago, and so obviously for them, it's just kind of finding that right formula for them to put themselves in position to go play. But again, a home game for them, a chance for them to continue to get better, and obviously having a really talented football coach there that's coaching their football team. I'm sure they've got great confidence.
When you've had as much success as you guys have had this year, have you found it tougher to nitpick about things, watching film and things like that with the kids, or no?
No, and I think that's what I love about this group. And again, the score is the score, and that's, for us, it's not been about the score. And I know I've said this a million times. It's not about winning and losing. It's about our process to reach our full potential. How do we get ourselves better one day at a time? And I think the maturity of this group, as well as a year ago, where we really learned that, and I think we gutted through that a year ago, I think it's carried on to this football season, where these kids understand that, it's our ability to get better one day at a time. How do we continue to improve? How do we continue to perfect our process to be the best we possibly can be? And if we don't, then we're going to get ourselves beat. We're going to lose football games, maybe where there's an opportunity to win the football game. And so I think that's what I love about our football team. Now 7 games in, obviously only 6 counting, but 7 games into the season right now, where we've gotten better every week. And that's what I love about our football team up until this point, the investment our kids have made to getting better. And obviously we're going to have to continue to do that if we want to play at a high rate.
Does it help to go week to week, knowing your team has so many better than not?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it helps week to week because that's the only way you can do it, in my opinion. That's the only way this process of college football, or you're dealing with 18 to 22-year-old kids who've got a million things going on in their lives. And I think as soon as you start to look past anything more than a day or two, you're in big trouble. And I think, our job is to be great teachers. And I think coaching is teaching, and I've said that a million times. And, I think our ability to teach these young people one day at a time in every aspect of their life is something that I think has really given us a chance to be successful and not really worry about the end result, but perfecting our craft and perfecting our process.
UMass hasn't necessarily done it consistently, but do you see this as an offense that can kind of go crazy in terms of passing?
Sure. I think anytime you got the weapons they have and a quarterback that's as gifted as what they have, I think it's one of those situations that he can make every throw. He's got an NFL arm, an NFL skill set, and he's got NFL receivers and tight ends around him. So I think it's going to be a tremendous challenge.
With folks around the country noticing you guys are great program, top 20 now. Anything changing outside of you? I know you guys are locked in, but as far as recruiting or more people coming at you, want to do interviews throughout the week, or anything change?
Yeah, again, I think, and I know I said this a little bit last week, I think it's the same thing for us. And, our process doesn't change. And, who we do and who we are in a recruiting standpoint, we've always tried to be the best in the country at what we do in our process of evaluation and recruiting. I think continues to show credibility to who we are and to what we're trying to do here and what our culture is. And I think anytime that, when you win football games, that obviously helps recruiting and it helps attendance, and I think it gets everybody excited about what's going on. And that's great. And I said this before, it's great for our community. It's great for our university and our community and everybody else who's invested with us to really make what Toledo football looks like right now.
How is your defense better equipped to handle that this year?
Yeah, I think that's something that we'll have to look at, obviously, through today and tomorrow and the early part of practice this week. I think you try to match skill with skill as much as you possibly can. And I do think we've got some good skill players on the defensive side of the football. But, again, you can match it up as many ways as you want. Still, a wide receiver versus a corner, that's a matchup. Or a wide receiver versus safety, that's a matchup that you got to go win and you got to be successful at. So, I think we'll have to devise a really good game plan to kind of mix and match things throughout the game. And, but ultimately, we're going to have to win our individual matchups throughout the football game.
There's a lot of excitement around every month coming into the season.
Mm-hmm.
So far, it's sort of a team effort in the back.
Yeah.
Dominating like they did last year. What's going on there?
Well, I think that, obviously that's a positive for us as I look at it. Kareem is, just getting back to full health and full strength. And almost for Kareem, it's almost the preseason right now, and he's still kind of getting him back to 100% health. So, I think the tribute there goes to Terry Swanson and Damian Jones-Moore and Mark Remy and the success that those guys have had, and obviously the offensive line being able to, get so many new guys and still being able to have success running the football. So, I think Kareem you're seeing flashes of Kareem the last 2 weeks, really kind of getting back into a groove, and, it'll be nice to have Kareem at least healthy for the stretch run, and I think it's been great for him to come out of 2 games now, getting to play a bulk of the football game, but coming out healthy, and I think that's great for his confidence as well.
Next year's unique, and this year, you guys have needed so few freshmen to play. You see that as being a good thing, an indicator where the program's at?
Well, I think you hope that's what great programs have, and obviously we try to recruit great players and great freshmen, and we got a couple that are making huge impacts, Deontay Johnson and Tyler Tafe, and guys that are playing for us and making an impact, Josh Teachy, but you also hope that you can continue to I always tell kids I'd rather play you too late than too early, in the fact of, I'm not going to try to burn your red shirt on a year where, maybe it's playing 10, 15, 20 plays. I'd rather have you be able to develop and get yourself ready to go. And I think that's one thing we've done a great job here as a coaching staff is developing our football players. And anytime you can do that and let them get bigger, stronger, get a great foundation to them academically, I'm certainly in support of that. So, I see it as a positive, and maybe a little bit of health of where our football program is today.
I would say top 2 between those guys and BG. They had a real good receiving core and a good tight end last year, so I would say definitely top 2.
You feel better equipped to handle them this year?
Yeah, I feel like we got a lot of confidence this year coming back, so I feel like we should be pretty good facing those guys this year. I really don't pay too much to it. Honestly, I just come to Lammer and go home, honestly, just play football. I really don't try to get too much involved with the outside world. Outside of my teammates and Coach Campbell, I don't really try to get too involved in it, honestly.
How's the front 7 this year changed your job?
It's a lot easier. We tell those guys each play, the better you play, the more good you make us look. We tell those guys each play, me and Cheatham and Chaz and Roland tell those guys each and every play, every down. The harder you play, the better you make us look. So we try to feed it to those guys as much as possible.
Are you feeling like this year you're having to cover guys for less and less time?
Yeah, definitely. Especially with Keenan Gibbs, Trayvon Hester, Orion Jones, and guys like that getting pressure on the quarterbacks makes it a lot more easier for us. Oh, real big. Jalen was one of those guys. He always kept us going, good or bad. He was one of those guys you can look up to, or one of those guys that could always keep us going, pushing and things like that. Just losing them on the field is going to be a pretty big loss, I would say.
You get excited about playing in the NFL stadium?
No, not really. I feel like as long as we go out there and do the things we need to do, I feel like playing in the NFL stadium won't make a difference as long as we prepare the way we need to prepare.
I mean, we just take it day by day. Like, we got a thing where each week we're 0-0, and we just got to focus on the team, the task at hand. We don't really try to look ahead too much.
All right, everybody says the exact same thing when they come up there. How do you guys do that? How do you guys have this mindset when everybody in the country is noticing? You guys are undefeated. You're number 19 in the country. You're blowing teams out. How do you guys stay focused like this? Because everybody that has come up there all season has said the exact same thing.
I mean, it starts like our coaches preach it to us every day, and I mean, as a player, like we're on the same page with them last year. I mean, we fell short. I mean, our main goal is to win a championship and get to Detroit Field, and we can't look ahead of anybody or look past anybody to achieve our goal.
For you, I asked this last week, but I guess it's for everybody. Is the bigger goal to win that championship or to rank the football?
Our bigger goal, I mean, the ranking's nice and everything, but our goal isn't to be ranked as high as we can. We want to win a championship.
The NFL stadium. Have you played in one before?
Yeah, last year at Cincinnati.
Okay. Is it cool? Do you look forward to this experience at all?
I mean, it's nice. I mean, it's pretty cool, but I mean, we could play anywhere. We could play in a playground at a middle school, and we'd still have just as much fun.